Episode 7. Whirlpool in the River. The following day, the mother and her child were in the car taking a drive. It seemed like a good time to continue the story. "Where were we?" the mother asked. "In the grocery store," the child replied, and giggled at the clever answer. "No, silly. I mean in the Arky Arch story." "Never mind, I know where I left off. Did you realize what they saw standing before them?" "Ivy?" "Yes. After all, Arky did say it looked familiar." "Of course I should look familiar, you stupid stonehead," called the tower back to them. "Don't you know me? It's terribly hard to move in this weedy garden." There was a slight tremble in the voice, as if it too was a bit unsure. Ivy?" ventured Arky. "Ivy, is that you? You're so beautiful," he stammered. "Don't be so fresh, Arky," Ivy the tall tower snapped back. "Why are you so small?" She gestured towards the red lawnmower at his side. "And who's this? What happened to Beta? Who was making all the drum beating? What's going on?" "Gosh, Ivy," said Beta the mower. "I'm Beta. This isn't a garden, it's a jungle. And we didn't get small, but you'd better look in the pond at your reflection. You became a sort of giant, Ivy." Ivy bent over and looked at her reflection. "Oh my," she gasped, and stumbled backwards. "I'm so different," she cried, and tripped over her own long legs, crashing into the soft jungle brush below her. Beta jumped up on Arky, and he swiftly carried him across the pond, wading through the waters that would have normally covered him over. They gathered around the slender tower and helped her to sit up and catch her breath. Ivy leaned upon Arky while Beta mowed a clean patch for her to find solid footing. "Arky, Beta, thank you. I was so afraid I'd lost you and was all alone. But now I'm so embarrassed. I don't even know how to walk anymore. I have such long legs but can only take short steps. What's happened to us?" Arky looked at himself. "I think Calculus Pigatus took us through not only space but time as well. Maybe we're in our own futures, when we're all grown up. Or at least partly way grown up. I don't think I'm as big as Uncle Trajan yet. And I'm not the big Mechanistia will become, that's for sure," added Beta. "But when simple machines grow up, they become more complicated, not just bigger. I only have a few new gear trains and a mower, but my uncles have complex engines and everything. But this is great." He mowed a series of happy circles around them. Ivy stood up, still a bit wobbly on her tall arched legs. "Oh, Arky," she said, leaning on him. "I hope you don't think I'm funny looking. I didn't expect to be so tall so fast." "Me neither," spoke up Beta as he zoomed past, mowing another swath. "Watch this." The mower spun so furiously that it caused himself to hover off the ground for a few moments. "I can fly!" Beta exclaimed, making Ivy and Arky laugh out loud. "Beta, you can do anything," said Arky. "Next time you fly across the pond to chat with the crepes." He turned to admire his tall friend. "Gosh, Ivy, you look wonderful to me. Friends may change on the outside, but we always stay the same inside, right?" The tall tower hugged him, and Arky blushed, his keystone turning pink. "Thank you, Arky. I knew you'd find me. It's terrible to think you're alone. And now you also found the me inside the new me." She craned her long neck to look all around, and almost fell over again. "Oops, I have to get used to balancing this antennae. Does it really look nice? I think we should find that pesky Pigatus, or whatever its name was. If it got us here, it can surely get us back." "Ha!" snorted Beta. "That gargoyle must have been sent to get the piggy thing for Golgothicus, but we tricked him." He turned quiet and thoughtful for a moment and looked around. Or maybe it tricked us. Where is this place? "If you have to ask, then you don't know, Beta," Ivy replied. "And neither do I. What do you remember of arriving here?" "What were those blue creatures?" she asked them both. "We both just woke up this way, and the blue people were the Croape Queen Suzette and her crepe warriors, we guess. Anyway, one thing's for sure," Arky observed. "We can't stay here. Ideas?" "Let's go back to the clearing I found Arky in," offered Beta. "That's where we ran into the crepes, and, well, you think maybe there'll be a sign of Piggy?" As if in answer to his question, jungle drums began to boom rhythmically again in the distance. "This way," called Arky. "Hurry, Beta, beat us a trail." The three friends ran as fast as the underbush would allow in the direction of the throbbing drums. Despite her size, Ify had some difficulty keeping up. She could not take as long a stride as she would have liked. As a young strutturale, she had been very limber, but her new form limited her movements and was like being trapped in a tight long dress. But within minutes they were back at the clearing that Arky had first appeared in. Beta was still mowing speedily ahead of him when Arky spotted something unusual. "Wait, Beta," he called out, and the mower skidded to a halt. "Look at the grass over here," Arky commanded, and the three friends gathered around strange markings in the weed and the underbrush. It was as if something very heavy had lain in the green vegetation, crushing it down in a circle. "It must have been Calculus piegatus," he said. "Yes, it looks like these are the marks of the seven-sided ring, and that's what it was when the gargoyle let go of it," Ify remembered. The drums suddenly became louder. "Wait a moment," Arky called. "Ify, can you see anything from above the trees?" Ify straightened to her tallest and looked all around. "Oh my gosh, Arky, there's a wave of movement coming away from over there. What did you call them? Crepes? They must be attacking. We'll have to go the other way." She indicated the cliffs in front of them, and Arky knew their retreat was cut off by the rushing river below. "We'll have to defend ourselves here," he called out. "Those bird-monkey fellows are aggressive, so keep them away from Ify, Beta." He stamped his pedestals to find firm footing, and the trio braced themselves for the onslaught of crepes, the wavering of the trees showing how close they were, and the booming of the drums becoming deafening. Suddenly the beating stopped, and an eerie stillness took their place. From in front of them the grass was still moving, however, and out into the sunlight stepped Queen Suzette, and she was holding their amazing transportation device above her head. "Hey, that's Piggy!" shouted Beta. "Give it back!" And the intrepid lawnmower threw himself at the Queen of the Crepes in an attempt to force her to drop Calculus piegatus. Arky raced to help him, but the leader of the Crepes was too fast for them. She dodged Beta's attack and stepped swiftly past them to the edge of the cliff. Before anyone could do anything to stop her, she flung the folding metal bars over the edge into the raging torrent below. "Wait!" shouted all three friends together, but it was too late. They ran to the edge of the cliff just in time to see Calculus piegatus sink below the dark waves. It was still clicking angrily, and for a split second it sparkled beneath the water before it vanished into the inky depths. The tribe of Crepes disappeared as well, sliding silently back into the jungle, Queen Suzette turning her back on them with a haughty snort. "I think they knew that Calculus piegatus is nothing but trouble to those who don't know how to use it," said Arky, watching them go. "It's nothing but trouble to us too, but we need it to get out of here," responded Beta, his whirling blades spinning to a halt. They turned away from the cliff edge, but Ify remained a moment longer, still looking at the waters that had closed over their only way out of there. Something was happening. "Hold on, guys," she called after them. "There's a disturbance in the water. Our piggy is not lost yet." Arky and Beta came back to look over the cliff with her. A swirling motion had begun beneath the waves, and soon a giant tornado of rushing water was opening up like a funnel in front of them. "A whirlpool!" exclaimed Ify. "A squirrel pool?" asked Beta. He shook side to side. "I don't like squirrels. Just ask the Bolt brothers about the time one went for the—" "Woohoo! It's the metal bars, all right!" hollered Arky with joy. "It's opening up a time-space travel portal of chronoflux right here under the water. This is our chance. We have to jump into it." "What? Jump down there? In the squirrel pool?" Beta asked hesitantly. He leaned over the edge to judge the distance. The water below looked like a swirling tornado. "How about if we lower a vine and—" "No, Arky's right, Beta," responded Ify. "We have to go now before it disappears again, and we must jump in together or we might wind up really separated this time. Shall I give you a good swift kick to make you move?" "On the count of 3 we jump," said Arky excitedly. 1, 2, woohoo! He'd not even reached 3 when Beta took a mighty leap and plunged over the edge. Arky and Ify jumped with him, and in a split second they flashed past the edge of the whirlpool, and with a whoosh, the waters closed over them, and the spinning turbulence was gone. And so were they. "Now where did they go to?" the child asked eagerly. "I think they should return to help Trajan." "Well," said the child's mother, "that would not be much of an adventure if after the first exciting encounter they return home. No, Arky and his friends have a few more stops to go before their travels are over. And tomorrow we shall ask Father if he's seen anything like Calculus Purgatus. Have you figured out what it could be yet?